Hello YouTube, Big Terry here with Golden Oaks Worm Company, back with a new video. And today we are starting a mealworm farm. Yes sir, we're adding to our growing inventory. So if you'd like to see more, stay tuned. Now what we have here is a mealworm breeding kit purchased off of Amazon. Not sponsored, but there is a link in the description if you would like to get one of your own. Now, this breeding kit came in a plain cardboard box just like this with no instructions. So there's a disclaimer there. If you don't know how to use it, then you can do what I do and go to YouTube University to see videos about how people raise mealworms. But if we take a look at this kit, it seems to come with 2 trays, a vented cover, and if we open up the lid, we can see that the top tray also has a vented bottom with a lower tray that is solid. Let's see if we can get this apart. Oh, kind of stiff. Okay, so the lower tray is pretty much a catch-all basin. So I've seen other mealworm kits online similar to this with 2 or 3 tiers. So I'm guessing that those kits will probably be able to separate a bit more when it comes to mealworms. The object of this kit is that you set the vented basin inside the solid version, and that the mealworms and the bedding go in here, and what's filtered out is eggs and castings or the skins when they molt and grow. And supposedly the eggs fall through this mesh because they're pretty much microscopic once they're laid, and they get separated from the actual mealworms. So in that way, when it comes time for you to basically separate the eggs from the pupae and the mealworms and the beetles, you can do that a little easier. And all the smaller eggs and particles will be left in the bottom. And then you just remove this tray and put them in a different bin. Basically, the larvae, the pupae, and the beetles in a different bin. And you start the process all over again. So we are going to give this kit a try and see how it goes. Now to start off, I went down to my local Pet Sense and bought 100 mealworms. And this is just a little small reptile cage that I picked up to transport them home and in order to wait until the actual kit came in. So it might be hard to see, but inside there are mealworms. Now this brings me back to my early school days where we actually did a project raising mealworms, and I remember bringing them home, and my mom was really freaked out at first, but she understood. So I grew them for a while, but it's been so many years that I'm going to attempt this again. Now the reason we are breeding mealworms is because yes, we are Golden Oaks Worm Company, and we were specializing in worms, but I recently also acquired some quail, and it seems that the quail tend to like these little guys, so I've been offering them to them as an occasional snack. But it would be nice to breed them in larger numbers so that in case anybody else has an interest in them, we can also sell these guys. Now inside this container I have half a roll of an empty toilet paper roll, basically to give them a little bit of cover, but it's also where I put their food because mealworms like darkness. So I've been keeping this in one of my closets in the dark, but basically I put the food under here and they eat it. Now their bedding right now is composed of oatmeal, rolled oats, and a little bit of their skins and the shells that came in the containers I actually bought them in. And I just dumped it all in here. But under this piece of cardboard, if you can see really closely, I put a piece of watermelon for a little bit of moisture for them. But mainly, their main food other than the oats, they seem to enjoy carrots, which also has some moisture that they can get, because they not only require food, but they also require water like most living animals. So there's a nice group here you can see in the corner, and they're just having a good old time. Now the carrot I put in this morning may be buried. Yeah, it's buried right under here. They've actually, I had it laid on top of the bedding here, but as they go at it, they tend to bury it. So there's the carrot. So what we are going to do right now is we're going to transfer the contents of this container into our mealworm kit and see if we can sift out some eggs and maybe some of the dead skins from the mealworms. So quick disclaimer, now I purchased these mealworms from my local Pet Sense, and one of the things I'm concerned about, I found out afterwards, is sometimes the mealworms that you get in pet stores are sterilized because they're meant to be fed to like reptiles and whatnot, not for breeding purposes. So this first attempt at our experiment may not work, but we're going to give it a try. If we find out it doesn't work after a couple of weeks, then we'll start again. We'll just feed these guys to our quails, and we are going to order some unsterilized, hopefully, mealworms from online, and we'll start the experiment over again. But we are going to give this a go right now for our first try and see how it goes. So let's get this kit opened up and these mealworms dumped in. All right, here we go. Probably should remove this piece of carrot just for a moment. And also I'll remove this chunk of watermelon real quick, just so I can put it back on top of their bedding once we transfer them in. Give this a tap just in case there may be a couple of lingering eggs there in the container. We'll set this back inside of here for now because I'm making a little bit of a mess on this table. And here we go. This is our kit with our mealworms inside. So let's give it a little shake. See if we can get some of this, some of the debris to sift down to the bottom. So now over here you can see the oats, and the darker material is the material that they came in when I bought them. So let's give this a little bit more of a shake, and then we'll separate the two layers and see if we catch anything on the bottom. This is really tight. That's one of the things, one thing that I am not liking about this so far. Okay. So let's lift this up and we'll set it on top of here for now. Now here in the bottom, what we have is some of what is the frass, and that's the castings and the dead skin, and there may be some eggs and baby mealworms in here. So we're not going to discard this. We're going to save it just in case there are mealworms in here and eggs. And what I've found also is that you can also use frass as plant material, like compost and fertilizer for plants. So this also serves another purpose, because we have been trying to live life more sustainably and start to grow our own fruits and vegetables as well. And so this will come in handy. So, but this is all the stuff that we're going to sift out of the mealworm bin for now. Like I said, we're going to keep this because there could be some eggs or maybe some very tiny mealworms in here, but they're so microscopic when they're born. You can't see them with the naked eye. So we're going to keep this here, and every day or so or every few days, we're gonna do this again to sift more of this debris down to the bottom. And hopefully we'll start to see some of these guys start to pupate and turn into cocoons that will breed into the adult beetles. Now I can see there are a couple of there may be a few dead ones in here, some that have died. So we're gonna get those guys out. The ones that I can see are obviously dead. I'm not seeing any cocoons just yet, but we're gonna keep this thing going. You see the movement there. So yeah, so we are going to remove the dead worms, and then we're going to put their food back in. They still have a couple of other pieces of carrot in there buried, so we're going to leave that in there, and we're going to come back in a couple days and see how they're doing. Now, like I said, this may not work on our first attempt, but we're going to give it a try, and if it doesn't work, we'll update you and let you know what we're going to try next. Probably order a fresh batch online and feed these little guys to my newly acquired quail. So if you would like to see more and like to follow their journey, please remember to like, follow, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever we upload a new video. Now until next time, this is Big Terry with Golden Oaks Worm Company. We'll see ya.